pain is beauty, they say.
Hey, what's up, guys? Blake Albertson here. We are live at the Hype House in Tampa, Florida. I am here with Sean from Spencer's Lawn Care.
What's up, guys?
Caleb from Almond Landscape. And Paul Jameson with the Green Industry Podcast. And here at the last day of the Hype House, it's been a great week. Hype House brought to you by LMN, and we have Skag Orange here. Mitchell is running the show here tonight, and I got to pick my color of the background. I got some starter questions here that I actually asked you guys on Instagram, and I wanted to knock those out, and then we'll be taking some questions live from the comments section. So the first one that I kind of wanted to run through here, you guys, just a couple minute answer, a couple second answer, whatever. I'll start over here with Sean. What's the biggest regret in your business?
Biggest regret in my business? Not delegating soon enough, you know? Letting fear hold me back a little bit with that. But now that I've taken that on, I guess I almost feel like the chains are just off. Now there's like a whole new world out there, you know? So not delegating soon enough.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good tip.
Yeah.
What about you, Caleb?
Man, there's so many, because I had a company that didn't go well first 10 years, rebuilt with my wife, and one of my regrets, and believe it or not, she won't even believe what I'm saying, is not listening to things she wanted to implement sooner. Things like LMN, believe it or not, she wanted to use it 2 years ahead of when I finally decided to go along with it. Some of the specific tools we purchased that I just didn't want to spend the money on. I was being reluctant to spend the money. So not taking outside advice better, and I'm embarrassed to say that, frankly, but yeah, not listening to my wife more, because she had a lot of really great input.
Yeah, funny how that works. I say that to Natalie a lot. If I would have just listened. What about you, Paul?
What's tomorrow?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, there's a guy. Long story there. Yeah, you're trying to...
Timing.
Yeah, I burned a bridge tonight.
Like you mentioned, having a CRM, I wish I would have had a bookkeeper earlier. Once I had a bookkeeper and I had the wake-up call that you have to look at your numbers, it's like Liz Fullerton said the other night, you're vulnerable when you're naked, you know, in front of somebody. I'm waiting until I'm married, but it makes sense.
You're a champ, Paul.
I really am. Yeah.
You're a man among men.
Well, I didn't want someone... The point was, when your financial numbers of your business, your actual revenue, your actual expenses, your actual profit or net loss is exposed to a bookkeeper, then you'll feel, and Brittany Allman was sharing this, she was like, well, the reason this is like this, and she started making all these excuses, and then at the end of the day, you gotta stop making excuses, you gotta make profit. And so a bookkeeper is just that accountability. So I would have hired a bookkeeper year one and figured out a way to pay them, because that would have helped me understand my numbers. A good bookkeeper. There's ones that just collect your money and give you the report. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about someone who will actually dive into the numbers of your business to help you understand how profitable or not profitable you are.
Yeah, those are really good points. Now I want to kind of flip it on the side. It's the same question, but what's the best decision that you made in your business?
I guess transitioning to equipment that we can use year round. That's a dump trailer we just purchased this past year, and then we transitioned it into leaf removal using a debris loader. Now we're going to be able to transition that. If we needed to, we could haul snow away if we're getting too built up. And then also running now, going to be starting mulch in about another month and a half here. So we're going to be ready in the mulch season. I want my equipment to run and be used all the time, stop it from sitting around, not being used. And I hate just staring at it, and it's like a big paperweight there. And it really ate me up last year whenever we didn't have any winter, and I'm just staring at the plow just sitting there all year long. $11,000 investment with the salt spreader, it'll just eat you up because stuff's just sitting there, man.
Yeah, I totally agree with investing in your equipment. I say all the time that investing in a second work truck was the best decision that I made, because it pushed me to start a second crew and grow my business, quite frankly, and delegate some of my day-to-day tasks to employees.
Absolutely. I'd say a website also. Get a website as soon as you can. Make sure it's clean. Make sure it's readable. Make sure you're putting little click features in there, payment features in there, leaving a little spot there where they can come back and give you a good review, so that just continues rolling and growing your ball, and new customers can come in, see organic content, and hopefully hire you, or at least get you out there in front of them, and then you can sell yourself to them and get another customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's solid.
Caleb, what about you?
Oh, geez, just getting control of the number. The best thing we ever started doing was just really getting, and we're still not where we need to be, is controlling numbers with job costing and stuff like that. We're getting there, but just really starting to take control of our financial life. That was the number one thing. Like just being tired of being sick and tired, and or being sick and tired of being sick and tired, really, and taking control of our financial life and our financial future, and just getting away from the same old thing. You know, that was like the number one thing.
Yeah, mine would be raising prices. There was a moment where I actually sat with a mentor of mine who went over all my numbers, and he basically realized that I wasn't charging enough, and he challenged me to raise my prices. And so you guys know that I have a rate increase letter. Fullerton has a rate adjustment letter. That was actually the night that was birthed. I was like, well, how do I raise my prices? He's like, well, you have to tell your customer. And so I actually talked to my accountant, and I actually paid them. I was like, hey, can you write me a letter that I can send out to my customers, because I didn't even know where to start. And so I sent them out. Some of my customers left me because my prices were so low, and that opened the door for new customers at the right price. And then every single year I just would raise my prices. And so it's mind-blowing when you really understand your overhead. I talked to your buddy Andy on my podcast that's going to be coming out soon. How many expenses, yes, very, very good, Andy Mulder, about the overhead cost that it actually takes to run our business. I think guys that are just starting don't charge enough. So that was the best decision I made, was to raise my rates.
Paul, if only there was a place all this good advice could be found that you're giving out. I mean, if only.
That was a perfect transition. Thank you so much, Caleb. At the end of this, guys, we're actually going to give away a signed copy.
You're already sitting on
a signed copy of Paul Jameson's new book. We'll just do it in the comment section. No big deal. You're going to sign it, autograph it, shoot it out to somebody tomorrow, I think you said.
Monday.
So,
yeah, I got to go to UPS Monday. So
perfect.
Thank you.
We got a question.
Got a question from Sportsman Logan 11. What would be the quickest way to grow a lawn care company in 2021?
Yeah.
Quickest way I would just say is to be aggressive in your advertising. And I mean, if you're really wanting to take on a lot, just remember, you know, if you're solo or if you got one guy, you're going to get there pretty quickly if you're aggressively advertising. So you can get a website going, you can do bandit signs, you can go door to door if you want, you can walk into places if you want. It's kind of hard with COVID, everybody's a little, tricky, so you got to transition to new things. Go online, use your Facebook marketplace, use neighborhood ads or whatever they call them now. You can do sponsored ads. Don't be afraid to spend a little bit of money, because it's going to come right back. I hear guys all the time like, man, it's going to cost me $100 to run an ad for a couple weeks. Well, you land one customer, you're going to immediately get that $100 back, and then hopefully you get 5-10 more, and then you're sitting there a month later like, what's $100? So if you're really wanting to bump it up, then you could just continue adding to that. If you get the customer return, bump it up to $500, $1,000, whatever. But the biggest thing is start small, start close to home, and then build your ball. Make it bigger, bigger, bigger. Don't worry about the one customer out here, or the one customer way outside your ball here. Keep it close. Keep it close to home, and then slowly build it out.
Well, something that I really liked, what Paul said in our last video, was make sure that you find out what your service area is and stay in that area. And Facebook can really help with that. Their ads you can really hone in on that, like a neighborhood or something like that. Nextdoor.com is kind of the same kind of thing, and it's super niche to a neighborhood.
I've never used that one.
Yeah, it's really good. I've gotten some calls over the years on it, and Google My Business as well. I just wanted to chime in there if you guys have something else.
Talk about ad or lead generating services like some of the home advisors and all that crap, all that stuff. I mean,
yeah.
There you go.
I haven't used them. We primarily hit Facebook really hard, and that's what grew our business. Also with our website and Google My Business. So have you had experience with that?
For mulching and some landscape work, we dabbled in it just to see what it's about, and from what I found, just they weren't very quality leads, or it just wasn't a direction we wanted to go at all with the company. I'm realizing, just kind of what it was, but I know a lot of people, look at it, because it's just I would say an easy way for leads to come to you, and I have found, and it would appear even from what I see just posted around, like what they're dictating pricing to be is just for lawn care or even lawn maintenance stuff, which we don't do. it would not appear to be worth it to me. But
Yeah.
I'm not in that field anymore. I've been out of lawn care for 6
I know
or
guys
7
that have
years.
had really good success with it. We tried it out. We found that they were sending us more or less customers that we really didn't want, tall, just a lot of stuff, one-time cuts. But with those, you're going to get hit with a fee, and then every time you get a reoccurring customer or a new customer coming in, you're going to get hit with a percentage there. So just know what you're getting yourself into. I know folks that have ran through those types of sites and had really good success. I've had others that, in ourselves, we really didn't care for it.
Mitchell, you got a question?
Piggyback off of that, David Ferguson, with everyone big on an annual price increase, does your base starting price go up every year, or do you keep your base starting price and go off from that? Good question.
That's a good question. I know Paul can hit on it real quick. You go ahead, but I have
Okay,
a statement
I'm
too.
actually anti-base price because what's the square footage? There's so many variables that go into the price, and so I would like to say that you need to actually know your numbers. You need to know how many square feet is the property? Is there access to the backyard, or do you have to do something funky with a gate by the pool and things of that nature? And then do you have the stats from the previous year? Let's say it's 4,000 square foot, plain Jane, easy backyard, you can knock it out. What do you charge for 4,000 square foot yards? Do you have the data from 2020 to compare it to? So you can't just willy-nilly say $45. You really need to start dialing in on clocking in, clocking out, knowing what the property, the amount of time you're on the property, because we're in the business of selling time. The Lawn Care Millionaire, I learned that from him back on YouTube in like 2013. He's like, you're in the business of selling time. And so we need to know this property is going to take us 43 minutes and it's going to be 2 or 3 guys. What's your goal to make per man hour? And what's your hourly rate per man hour? And so there's all these things that go into it that 90% of the companies that are under 2 million, they don't calculate. But when you get into the big companies like Brightview,
Right.
they these bigger companies, Blake, Brightview is the biggest company, but companies that do 16 million a year, 20 million a year, they meet in the boardroom and they go over, okay, on this route they did these properties, they clocked in, clocked out how many men, and they look at all the numbers and they crunch it to find out what they need to change that price by and what they charge. And so just by asking that question, I would say, whoa. There's a lot more that goes into it. And my base price is 40 or 45. I would really dial into understanding your numbers better.
Well, instead of asking about the base price, what about your minimum price for a property? Does that go up every year?
Yeah, well, I understand what you're saying. Minimum price, base price, but I never had a minimum, I guess. I do work in a nice neighborhood, but I understand what you're asking. The answer is yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. But start to really understand all the elements of the yard, and that's gonna lead you to the price.
We got any questions, Mitchell?
We got a bunch.
I bet.
Let's see.
It's Blake Albertson. Come on.
Exactly. Alrighty, so Sportsman Logan 11, what is the best website to start making on? And thank you guys for the advice. I did try next door, but I kept getting reported for advertising.
Yeah, some of those websites, it was a lot easier, 4 or 5 years ago. I will give you that, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. You're just going to have to work around that. With Facebook, the very first thing I would do if you're just starting your Facebook business page, and I think I said this in Brian's live too, is start with your friends, and you can invite them. Start inviting your friends that you think, hey, they might share your name. They might just not know that you have a business. The very first thing you need to do is at least invite them and let them know, hey, I'm in business. So if you have a neighbor, your friend, your family, you can let them know that, I have a business. Mm-hmm. Anybody have anything to hit on that?
I mean, Caleb, you want to hop in there?
I lost my train of thought, Sean.
Got a question from Will. This is Will,
yeah.
Cutting Edge Lawn Care of Anderson, LLC. Caleb and Blake, what tools, machines, software, or advice, so big question, that's done well for you and glad you made that decision and made it your SOP?
For us, to generalize, I would say anything that is in be it lawn care or lawn care and landscaping or hardscaping, the best tools or machines you can afford at the time. So I don't recommend people go either heavy into debt or into debt at all. if whatever you got to do, and then whatever you see that you're doing, and you're like, man, I'm shoveling mulch and shoveling rock and doing all this stuff. There's got to be a better way. Anytime you say there's got to be a better way, there's got to be a better way. And so if it's buying a dingo or a mini skid steer of some kind, and that's what saves you, or like a mulch buggy, or I'm sorry, like a buggy of some kind, like a track machine buggy, the cart mates and mulch hauler thing, anything you can buy that you can afford that's going to reduce labor on your jobs, or you buy it instead of hiring people. That machinery is going to be there Monday morning. It didn't knock anybody up. It's not hungover. I mean, machinery is the thing to buy. You want to get into, in my opinion, you want to mechanize as much as you possibly can, and mechanize your company from the right trailer racks and blower racks and trimmer racks and all that stuff that speeds things up and makes things more efficient. Equipment is like a vending machine where you put a quarter in and you get $1 out the backside in return on investment and increased efficiency. And you just got to look at what is going to speed you up, reduce fatigue, and it's not even speed. If it reduces fatigue to where your guys aren't gassed completely out by 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 11 in the morning, and they got a couple extra hours of energy in them because they're not just doing things the hardest, most manual way possible, that's where you need to be spending your money on instead of hiring new people. You need to be looking at what can you buy machinery-wise to beat out the labor situation, because the labor force is not going to get any better, and it's going to. And then on top of that, quality. This gets me going. So go. But quality labor is just going to keep costing more and more and more and more. And so what you might spend 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $100,000 on people, or a person a year. You could easily justify the payment on a machine that's going to eliminate you, that's going to be there for the next 5 years. You can't guarantee that person's going to be there. So yeah, you can get somebody to hold a wheelbarrow, for $30,000 a year, but you could also go buy a Toro buggy, or a track buggy for $16,000 and have that thing for 5 years and easily blow your company's production just out of the water. So I'm huge on that. I get all sorts of pumped up talking about it.
Yeah, and can I hop in real quick? I saw a story just recently, no joke, McDonald's was one of the leaders transitioning now with labor rates and everything. They went to a lot of the little kiosk machines. Yeah. Those little kiosks, they've ordered so many of them now, they're literally getting them each for $8,000 a piece. Compare that to an employee that potentially can call off, whatever.
Yeah.
And this machine's right there. Yep. You no longer even talk to anybody when you go in. You just go and push some buttons and wait.
And that's the future. Get used to it. And you need to be, as a company, I don't care if you're Billy Bob's Lawn Care or you're Brightview. You need to be on top of that as much as you possibly can, because the technology, the wave of technology and equipment that's coming is something you just have to be. Get with the times is really what it comes down to.
And I know that having good equipment can also be attractive for employees.
Oh, yeah, that's a phenomenal point. Yeah, hey, you could go work for Bob's and push wheelbarrows all day, or we've got a track buggy machine to move mulch with that you push a lever and it swivels and dumps and pours mulch into beds, and you won't be killing yourself. And actually, we pay $1 more an hour, by the way, too.
Yeah, and I wanted to answer the question, too, since it was geared. I mentioned the work truck. Literally changed my business and probably just changed the track that we were on. But also just upgrading from a residential machine to, we had a very, very used commercial machine. What it did was, when it broke down, I learned how to fix the basic things that will happen for the rest of the career. Things that just happen, but also you're just stepping up to a commercial machine. You're going to get better cut, you're going to get better stripes, and I just highly recommend that to people. If they don't have enough money to buy a new commercial machine, but they have enough to buy a new residential, I still gear them to go towards a used commercial machine.
Yeah.
Hunter's asking, thought on door-to-door marketing. Right
now, I'd say I wouldn't highly recommend it, just because with COVID, everything is just up in the air. That was even a hot one back before that happened. Yeah. But you can do direct mailers. There's ways to get around that. Door hangers there you're not having direct contact. You just stick it on the door and keep on going. Don't throw anything out in anybody's driveway or yard or any of that stuff. Stay far away from the mailboxes. Just don't touch them. I know some people say, oh, you can stick it on the flag or in a little hole or whatever. Just don't touch them. I'm telling you, I'm saving you a headache, getting in trouble with law enforcement. Just completely stay away from them. But I mean, there's ways around that. Instead of going door to door, focus in on a social media platform to an area that you want to target, or use bandit signs and target that area. Make sure you check with your local laws and restrictions.
Yeah, just with everything going on, like you said, even before COVID, people just, they don't want to be bothered at the home. I think, honestly, the bug guys and all those companies are kind of, they just hit them so hard, people just don't want to answer the door anymore.
Yeah, if you work all day and you're sitting at home, you're just about to eat dinner with your kids, and somebody boom, boom, boom on the door, you're probably not going to get a very valid response.
Yeah, and I just think that with all that, your time can be better spent, like you said, on focus on growing a social media or something like that, because I just think you're going to get the door slammed in your face way too much.
You got to use technology, guys. I get it. The easy way just seems to go door to door, talk to customers face to face. That seems like it. But look at Blockbuster. They were unwilling to change with the times, and they went extinct. If you're not willing to stay up with the times, upgrade your equipment, learn more, become better at your business, grow your website, all of that. Your SEO is so important. Your search engine optimization. If none of you guys don't know what that is, using your hashtags to locate directly to your area and your surrounding areas, your services you offer, and just all of that stuff. Putting up high quality video, high quality pictures on Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want to put them, Facebook. People see that and it's an instant sell. If Margaret, we'll use Margaret for example, if she's at home and her husband's at work and, she's scrolling through Facebook and her friend, Jody just happens to know you and shares a beautiful picture that you put up and is like, wow, I want this. Guess who they're calling? They're calling B&B Lawn Care to come over there, lay some beautiful stripes, bring the Stripe Nation and all that stuff over and get it done. Going up knocking on their door, it's just a hard sell anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Two things. One, just got in $100 from a secret admirer.
Woo! Thank you.
Mr. David Ferguson, do you guys have a good landscape design software that you suggest that doesn't cost a fortune for someone wanting to get into more design aspects of landscaping?
Sounds like a Caleb
Yeah,
question.
right. A good program we use that's it's a good value, has a good plant palette, which in other words is like the plant selection, and in the materials, pavers, the rock mulch, you name it, it's good and universal. Is one by Unilock. It's called UVision. It's like $400. That's a flat fee. And it's a really great entry to mid-level design program, and even we've sold some really big projects with it. It's a really good entry to mid-level design program, and I would tell you, it has everything from palm trees to northern quaking aspen, so it's all across the country, all different plant zones. The material itself is based off Unilock's paver pallets, but everybody's got their version of those style of pavers, so they'll work down south, they'll work up where those guys aren't. So I would tell you to start playing with that. Get on there. They've got a great Facebook page and a great a Facebook fan page thing that everybody's helping each other get better with the program, and a lot of YouTube training videos to get good with it.
It's great.
Just to hop in there real quick, there's a lot of companies too that if you buy your materials from them, if you spend enough, they'll offer you free design services. It's something local to our area. There's a company called Bluegrass. If you agree to buy all your material from them, they will literally have a designer in-house draw up your plans for it. They're super discounted and well worth it, and then you just kind of flip those into the job and you'll make the money back in no time.
Andy Moeller was just saying he's switching over to a company to provide all his irrigation supplies because they're doing the complete irrigation design from the size of the pipe, the valves, you name it, and he's blown away by it. And Andy won't sign up for just anything with anybody. He's very particular, and so I can't think of who that is. Reach out to @MMSNWI on Instagram, Andy Moeller, Moeller Maintenance Services. He can straighten you up on that.
Mitchell, what you got?
Good deal. Caleb Leatherberry is wanting you, Paul. He said he loves what you do for the industry. He loves your
Thanks,
podcast.
Caleb.
He loves listening to you, and he is looking forward to reading your book. He also wants to know, what do you all prefer, curved or straight shaft weed eaters?
Definitely straight shaft. I just I tried edging with a curved shaft once, and it was the last time I tried it. Have you had any experience? This is Brian. Brian's on maintenance. If you don't know, thanks for joining.
Sean's like, tag out. So I actually, my first trimmer, are we talking the curved shaft trimmer?
Yeah, curved versus straight shaft.
Echo GMT 225. I don't know the SKU, but it's the bed shaft one they sell at Home Depot. And that was my first trimmer. And I was like a samurai with that trimmer, dude. I love that trimmer. Like, it was like a $169 trimmer and bed shaft. Dude, can you, like, it's such humble beginnings, bro. Like if you saw a guy out there today with like the truck and the trailer and the rig, but he has like a little curved shaft trimmer, you're gonna kind of know he might be a rookie. You know what I'm saying? And I used those for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was such thing as a commercial trimmer. like I thought it was Home Depot curved shaft, Home Depot straight shaft. I didn't even know there's like real equipment dealers. And so I have my little GMT 225. Go look them up. And but I didn't know, man. I was like, dude, it was a Ferrari of a trimmer to me. I came from like my mom's weed eater when I was like 11. You know, the little yellow weed eater brand?
Yeah.
And a little spoolie of the white, whatever. But when I had that little trimmer head, I had like the speed feed, and I didn't know better, man. I thought I was Donald Trump Jr.
Guys, just joined Mitchell's Lawn Care LLC.
Yes, sir. Yes,
How's it
sir.
going?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Hey, real quick question. You guys can each go through it. Somebody wants to know, how do you get a logo design?
I got it. Give me.
Yeah, take it away.
A company I use, I'm not trying to promote them. They do a wonderful job. They're the ones that created my logo, even though my logo is very simple. That's what I wanted. And the reason behind it is because, well, first of all, it's at Limit Logo, or No Limit Logos, at No Limit Logos on Instagram. And they were referred to me, I don't remember by who, it was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I told them what I wanted. I wanted something simple. I wanted something clean because I knew I was going to plaster it on the side of my enclosed trailer. And I wanted people to read it when it's going by them at 65 miles an hour. So that was my goal. And he executed, depending on, they've got different tiers and stages.
Yeah.
As far as what you want or what you're looking for. And based on pricing, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Check them out. They do a ton of logos for people in our industry. I know a lot of guys that have used their service and they do really well.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually ever talked about this, but I think way back in the day, I paid somebody on Fiverr and they made like the grass things, and I didn't like that. So I was just playing around literally on like Pages on MacBook, and I put the 2 B's, and I really liked that. And then I don't know, like I think this is back on Instagram or something. Like I asked what everybody thought looked best. Then the grass went on top of the B's, and then like in the middle probably, and then below, and that's what stuck. So like,
what's the one down on the bottom, right?
yeah, it's below, and then the grass coming through the B's. Yeah.
I like your logo. Let's see. Brian's Lawn Maintenance never had a logo until I got on YouTube, which is crazy. Yeah, we never had a logo. So my first one, if people that ever watched our channel, like you kind of saw the evolution. I used, I think Fiverr originally, and then when I went to get my enclosed trailer, I was like, hey, this is what I've been working with YouTube. It was like that, kind of like CrossFit, like kind of like this logo a little bit. It's like the shell of what I have right now, but my trailer wrap company said, well, that's not going to work it's not a logo. They said, like, that's just something that you got on Fiverr. I think Liz and I made it, you know what I mean? It was really basic. So we had our local print shop make us our professional logo. That was $400, so that was a couple bucks. But that's the Brian's Lawn Maintenance crest that people know today. But I like No Limit logo.
No Limit Logos.
No Limit logo. I think I clicked on that Instagram page, maybe based off of a post that you made, and it looked pretty legit. I know a lot of folks go to Fiverr, and for don't get the base package for the $5 or $10. Spend the $35 to $65 to $75.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for, and you're gonna want that transparent art file. You're kind of like your social media stuff and like your Instagram. They kind of size the photos, and you want that transparent logo. It's a .png or a .ai. The PNG is that transparent, so you can put it on like shirts and stuff. But the AI is the actual logo that you can stretch to put on a trailer or a shirt. So those are great options. Local print shop though probably costs you $200 to $400.
Yeah.
It's great information.
Fiverr's great also.
Fiverr.
I just stuck on the logo because that's with No Limit Logos. That's who did my logo.
Yeah.
On my YouTube channel, Fiverr was referred to me. It's fiverr.com if I'm not mistaken. It's like FIVERR.com.
Two R's, like a $5 bill, $5.
Yeah, and they did my intro video for my YouTube channel, incorporate my logo. It's super cool. Did a wonderful job. And if you don't know what Fiverr is, it's a website, and it's pretty much like a bunch of subcontractors, like graphic designers, and you can just type in a search block, custom logos or whatever, and then I based my YouTube intro video off of ratings, so I kind of went like to the top guy, and it was expensive, but you get what you pay for.
They're called gigs. Yeah. So there's like different rated gigs. So like look for something that's like 4.9 stars or above. But the different themes or textures or colors or feels, something might be more industrial, something might be more pastels. Liz and I actually had for our FPO2 channel, somebody make us a logo, and it came back like super soft pastels, and we were like, nah, but we kind of looked at the gig like after because we didn't know what we were doing, and we realized this person does a lot of pastels, and so if you want like a more of an industrial look, or you want something that's more bold or more machined, or like gold leaf or gold trim, all of them right answers. You just got to figure out what you want for you. Just make sure you find that gig that makes the most sense for what you imagine your logo. And by the way, like if you ever get a logo design, quick little pro tip. If you take it to a logo designer or graphics designer, like take them inspirations, like take them colors, take a machine. Like I want this, this ultra crisp apple look with grays and slate grays and whites. Awesome. Like just take examples to your designer. Don't just say, well, I want a cool logo, or I want a bold logo, or I want it to look like Bronze on Maintenance. Like don't do that. That kind of sounds stupid, but don't do that. Take them with like 5 or 6 ideas of other logos you like, maybe like font types or something like that. That way, that person kind of knows what you're looking for.
That was perfect because Ed with No Limit Logos, he's one of the main graphic designers with them. He asked me, it's like, what do you want? And then of course I'm like, I don't know, that's why I came to you,
Yeah.
But then they with No Limit, they'll kind of coach you through it. He's like, well, give me this, give me 3 to 5 colors you like.
Yeah.
Give me, do you want trees, grass, whatever industry you're in, they'll kind of coach you through it. So great question.
What's that called? What's it called when you get like a color pack that you want for like a logo or a design or a house? Like that color pack with colors. You know what I'm talking about? A swatch. Yeah, it's like a pack you actually put together. Like that you get a feel for what you're doing.
The design board?
Like a design board. Yeah. Google or go on Pinterest and look up design board. And then anytime you start a project in the future, start with a design board. So colors, feels, textures, fonts. Then you can grow the words and the brands and the logos from that design board.
Awesome. Did you have a question come in?
Jeremy Wilson here wants to know how can he hire, or how should he build his SEO?
That's a good question. Do you got one?
You want to take it away?
I don't do a lot with SEO. I don't do a lot with websites. Here's what I would just say. Like SEO is kind of like one of those things where let professionals do it, but at the same point, don't go in there and manipulate a bunch of stuff. I've seen people do stuff with their websites and it go backwards. Here's what I would just say. Google runs the web. We know this, right? Like 80% of search or whatever it is goes through Google. If you just update your Google My Business listing once in a while with some relevant photos, some relevant posts, update your business hours, respond to reviews, good or bad, be professional. The algorithm knows to rank that listing better based on that engagement. You can tag, you can title on websites in your Google My Business. But for me personally, I wouldn't really be going into back-end links and hyperlinking and all this other mess. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying there's not a market for that. I just know a lot of people have taken their website backwards, and that just gets me really nervous.
So I wanted to say what I do. So my website has done really well for 4 years now.
Yeah.
It's like our main driver of phone calls. Brian Ring, shout out to him. He's the one that built it. And he goes in there every once in a while, just updates the keywords to the website. Like I said, I really, at a high level, I know what it is, but I don't know the deep down details. But it's just going in there, making sure that your pages say your city, you know what I mean? Like just ways that Google can categorize your website. One little warning I wanted to say, and I don't know if you guys get it too, but I get emails, it seems like daily, from companies saying, be in the top first page of Google, this and that. Like, I think that, we all know those companies are just out there. They're not going to do anything special for you. But if you are worried about that and you want to get your website ranking, like you said, Google My Business, I direct all my Facebook posts and things like that back to my website, which I know helps tell Google like, hey, people care about this website, and they
Exactly.
But I don't want anybody getting ripped off from like it'll be like all caps the subject line like
$3.99 a month. We'll manage your SEO.
yeah.
Maybe if you guys got some experiences, leave us some comments. But that's something that I personally stayed away from.
Yeah.
'Cause once you mess that up, it's that's in there, man. You don't want to mess up the internet.
Yeah, so the only person I would trust doing that is like a really good, reputable website builder, like the guy that built your website. If he has suggestions, say that have worked for other guys or other websites, I'd go that route. But other than that, yeah, like you said, don't go into your website and like go in a deep dive and start changing like links and things like that, because you could really mess up kind of the path that it's on.
All right, real quick here, Ethan Perkins, I have a question for all. I've always done lawn care on the equipment side, but soon graduate and want to start my own LLC. But I don't know with gas rising and possible raise in minimum wage, thoughts on this?
It's a good
So
question.
he's about to graduate, and it sounds like he's scared to
Go legit.
take the leap.
I mean, you can still operate as a sole proprietor. You know, you don't have to take that leap into a limited liability corporation unless you feel like you need that protection. Like I operated for 6 years as sole proprietor, just as Mitchell Gordy, doing or it was Mitchell's Lawn Care LLC doing business as Mitchell Gordy. You think it'll be worded the other way around, but it's not. I didn't jump into the LLC aspect until I started creating a logo for my business. I started servicing like multi-family dwellings where it's a higher liability job, car dealerships, where there's millions of dollars of inventory in the parking lot, where I'm in a situation where, and this goes hand in hand with insurance, general liability insurance coverage and all that stuff. But I didn't create that LLC until I felt the necessity to protect me. Where if someone wanted to come after me, they couldn't sue me. They had to sue like Mitchell's Lawn Care LLC, the entity. Then I was like, the LLC in the end, it sounds more professional. It kind of makes people feel, warm and cozy inside that you're a legit company, so it's not something that you have to do unless you feel it's a necessity. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, I did it like pretty much from the beginning. I remember 2014 is when I filed mine. I did it for the aspect of like I wanted to sound and be professional, like I wanted it to be B&B Lawn Care and Property Service LLC. Like it was what people in my neighborhood had. I'm like I need that to be taken seriously. But when you, like you said, you're doing bigger jobs, commercial thing, there's people walking around, it makes me sleep better at night knowing that, it's a separate entity, and especially when I got guys out driving and managing their own crews and driving trucks and things like that.
Of course.
I have a podcast, and I had a really well-respected guy on the show, and way above my pay grade, Tom Wheelwright. He's and also Garrett Sutton. They're Rich Dad Poor Dad advisors with Robert Kiyosaki. Like these are top people. And I said, I imagine you guys get this question a million times versus me getting it 1,000 times. And I said, Garrett, shoot me straight. When should people start an LLC? And his answer was immediately. He said, for liability issues, I don't care if you're 18 or 80, get an LLC, because what an LLC is, it's an asset protection vehicle. So your business goes inside this thing, and so like Mitchell said, if you damage a car, you damage a window. Look, from what I understand, whether you're 18 or 80, anybody's going to be able to do that. And God forbid, you got to think ultimate worst case scenario in business, unfortunately. And that's what you got to do is minimize risk. And if you shoot a rock into somebody's house and Agnes is doing the dishes and Agnes hits a rock to the head and she's no longer with us, whether you're 18 or 80, it doesn't matter in the law. You're going to be on the hook for that. And good luck trying to fight off a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against you when you're 18 with a sole proprietor business.
Very true.
So for my opinion, it went back to B&B. It's peace of mind. So if you're like, well, I only got a budget for the trimmer, a budget for the mower, or a budget for the LLC, or I can only do 2 out of 3. Here's my answer: is if you can't, not do one, you can't do not do number 2. Well, then grow the budget, figure it out, or I'm not saying don't start, but figure it out, get creative, figure out how you have a friend in town, or a lawyer friend, or a family friend. Figure out how to get that LLC going. You can get it for a couple $100. It's not as hard or tough as you
not
think.
expensive.
It's not expensive. Expedited services like a LegalZoom, excuse me, expedited service like a LegalZoom, couple $100. Go get a lawyer, small town lawyer to do it, $500-600. But to me personally, it's a non-negotiable. Same thing with liability insurance. If you're 18, somebody talked about this the other day. Like, actually, we're talking with Spencer, wherever he's at. I can't see. The lights are crazy. Spencer's right behind the camera. Duh. Spencer said when I had to grow my business, it got me out of my comfort zone. It made me become a better businessman. Mm-hmm. Well, you're not like saving money by not having liability insurance. Grow the business, grow the company, figure out how to bring the revenue in to get that insurance, get that LLC. I just don't want to ever get a phone call or an email, saying, well, somebody said like just get a DBA and that's okay. If you're doing business, get an LLC.
And one other thing to piggyback off of that, just as important as it is to register as that, but you have to operate as an LLC. You have to keep your business, if it is a separate entity, you have to treat it as a separate entity. You can't be going like,
separate bank account.
Yes.
There's they call them formalities. So you need meeting minutes, articles of organization, and you need to have annual minutes filed. A good lawyer can help you out with these things. It's $50 to $100 a year to kind of keep your LLC going, if you will. Those formalities are as important as the actual structure, because if you ever get sued, these are the things you're going to press back on to see whether or not. And what that means is, if you don't follow those rules, guys, then they're going to say, well, you're operating a hobby business. Yep. And they say, well, if there's an accident, you T-bone somebody and they want a couple $100,000, your liability insurance isn't going to be paying that out because they're not on the hook for it. You didn't operate as a real business, and they're going to come for your personal car, your personal house, your personal investments. And it's just like, I don't want to be doom and gloom, obviously, but just be cautious and just spend a couple $100. It's worth it. You won't even notice it's gone.
Yeah, it's called piercing the corporate veil.
Yes, yeah. You watch some YouTube videos on that, formalities and LLC formations, and it's fun. It's actually exciting stuff to learn, and it makes you really scheme as an entrepreneur, like how to protect your baby. So it makes you a better businessman.
And don't let it scare you. Like for me, it always scared me.
No.
But like just learn and do it. Like it's not like a huge thing. If you don't do it right now at midnight, your business is going to crumble. Just learn as you go. Watch some videos, look it up. Maybe talk to some local professionals in your area, and just take it slow, but learn and just do it.
Yeah. But don't take years to do it.
Exactly.
Take a couple months tops. Couple weeks.
Yes.
Guys, so we have a really tough question here. I know you guys are going to really struggle with this one. Open or enclosed trailer?
I like enclosed.
I've had them all. I have them all. So I ran for years with an open trailer, and then in 2016 I switched to an 8.5 by 20 enclosed. And there's some days that I wish I had the open trailer just because it's easier to maneuver.
Sure.
And there's more days that I'm glad I have the enclosed because it's a rolling shop.
Yeah.
I've got everything in it that you really can't do with an open trailer just because you just can't mount stuff all over the place. But to me, I always pick enclosed for security and storage and having my rolling shop with me.
I want to be difficult, and if you're just starting out, and the budget's small, an open trailer is a fifth of the price
100%.
And twice as versatile. I'm just saying, in the beginning of a business, dude, we carried hundreds of yards of mulch in it. So that's my route.
Yeah.
But if you can afford it, I do prefer the enclosed trailer for the reasons that you said.
We all have enclosed.
Well, it's funny. I went from utility to enclosed, and I just love the versatility of a utility trailer. We're buying one right now. In the next 6 weeks, it'll be delivered. Mm-hmm. One for the 4-wheelers, hopefully one for to double up for tractors. But then there's times where I'm just like, dude, a little utility trailer to like shuttle around a couple mowers or run to the shop. Because an enclosed trailer is big, it's a boat, it's gas mileage goes through the crapper. I love utility trailers. A good 7.5 by 14 or 7 by 16 type utility trailer, tandem axle. You get them for $2,500 plus or minus. Great start for any lawn and landscape business. Maybe a little pro tip, added value here that maybe if you're asking that question, something to also not do is get too small of a trailer, enclosed or utility. I can't talk about trailers without talking about that because my first nice trailer was a 6.5 by 12, and it was like this kind of awkward tweener. and I grew out of it within 18 months, but I was forced to run it for about 4 years. And so that was kind of frustrating. If I would have had that 14 or 16 footer, we could have put 2 mowers on it. But with one, the trailer being 6.5 by 12, we could only get 1 mower and barely even the bagger on it. So don't be afraid to grow into a trailer too.
I always make that recommendation. Definitely buy more than you need. You know, even if you set everything out in your driveway and you're like, all right, this is where I would set it on my new trailer, and you measure, okay, yeah, I need 14 feet. Go 16 or 18, definitely. My first trailer was 6 feet. That was it, 6 feet. So I could put a Craftsman ride mower and a push mower like
Barely.
on its side in the back. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Hey, but I was proud, boy. Let me tell you, I was
Amen.
proud.
Amen.
And I was making money.
Yeah.
I was paying for my gas and breaking even.
There you go.
Anyway, definitely buy more than you need. But you know, I still have my open trailer. That's the value that
I do
there
too.
are in open trailers, and I still use it. You know, for hauling my tractor around and stuff like that, and going to pick up pine needles and things like that. So you know, start like Blake said. But if you can, you know, graduate and work your way up to an enclosed, definitely do it. But keep that open trailer.
Yeah.
My first trailer was $300.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. I think it was like a 5 by 10
5 by 5 by 8,
or something like that. All I could fit was a 52-inch mower and a 21-inch push mower.
No kid.
And how old were you, Blake? Share with the audience.
14 to 16, something like that. No, sorry, 14 to 15 when I bought that, because I remember I couldn't drive. He had to deliver it.
Nice.
I bought
That's
it.
big for the young guys, though.
Yeah, I bought it at a garage sale.
I see so many young guys hooking up like a hitch, you know, set up to like a 4-wheeler,
Yeah.
like the family 4-wheeler. Like some of you younger guys don't have wheels, you know, and to your 15, 16, 17, get your first, you know, truck or.
I love seeing those setups.
Yeah, I love
Pulling
seeing
bicycles.
Pulling on bicycles, the UTV. Some of you guys got Razors and UTVs in the family or 4-wheelers. That stuff is so motivating to me. I think the hustle is awesome, and you know they're pulling their mower, their trimmer. They got little racks they made, and that thing is awesome, man. So if you guys are doing that kind of stuff, more power to you. My first one was a 5 by 8 little utility trailer from Tractor Supply. Dude, that thing was a little champ, dude. I love that thing. I ran that for 2-3 years. A little Viking walk behind mower on there.
Yeah.
I smile right now. I don't give a crap, man. I love my lawn business back then. My problems were so small compared to like
Way less overhead, less responsibility.
Oh man, I was just it was being the mower and on my headphones, you know.
Well, I think we can all agree is do what you can with what you've got.
Exactly. Start small.
Go get it, dude.
Amen.
Go get it.
We got another question?
We got like one more question, John.
Caleb wanted to just say he appreciates all you guys do and thanks you for your time.
Oh, sweet.
Thanks, Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb Ballman tells me that all the time. Or was that from the comments, Caleb? Hey, if you guys are watching this far, don't forget to thumbs up the video and check out the other vlogs all these guys are putting out too, because there's a lot of great content this week from the Hype House. So
Absolutely. Hey, real quick, can we get Paul and Caleb back up here? And I want to get everybody here, but for one last question, I wanted to make sure that I asked you guys. It was on Instagram. We'll start over here with Caleb. What's your definition of success?
For a long time, it was financially driven to, like Mitchell joked about earlier, not just breaking even, not just covering material cost, and actually, I'll tell you what, it really was. It was making a good salary finally, because so many people, when I was a young kid contractor, were like, they started getting married and having kids, and I'm like, hey man, they had businesses, and I talk to them, and I see them down the road, later, and like, hey, hey man, how's the company? What's up with the mowing business? All this stuff. Oh man, I got out of it. I had a kid. I had to get a real job and all this stuff, and dude, like that drove me so hard because I just swore. I was like, I can't. I mean, two hands the amount of people that told me that stuff, and I just swore, like for 15 years now, 20 years now, like that I wasn't gonna be like. This is a real job. Like, I'm gonna make this a real job. It is a real job. And like, dude, that drove me so hard for so long. And we hit that, thank the Lord, a little while ago now, to where, Britt doesn't work outside the company. We own the company ourselves, and it is our income. It's our living. And I guess that is like success to me, is like, we took what a lot of people don't consider a real living, a real job, and made it into something. And for all you folks out doing it, and these guys crushing it too, like, props to you. It's awesome.
I just want to go down the line. Sean, what about you?
I missed the question because I still had the
Oh,
headset
yeah.
on. But just to piggyback off what Caleb just said, I got to share real quick. First year, they said I wouldn't make it a year. Then they said I wouldn't make it 2 years. Then they said I wouldn't make it to 5. There's no way you're making it to 5. 6 years probably going to be bad. Well, guys, long story short, this year we're going to come up on 10 years. As soon as we hit November, it's going to be a big deal. And
It's a big milestone.
anything you want to do in your life, as long as you're willing to put in the hard work and learn and consistently grow, you can absolutely do it 100%. Don't let somebody else crush your dreams.
Deserves an
Heck
amen.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Amen.
This is going to be good.
Their question was, what does success mean to you?
Success means to me,
Or what does success look like to you? Right?
success.
Yeah, what's the definition of success to you?
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a hard question. Success to me is being able to work and be happy and have a life outside of work. Be a father, be a husband, be a son, a brother, and I'll be honest, I falter on some of those things. I'm not perfect by any means, but you continually learn. Myself and Caleb had a conversation at like 6 a.m. the other day on his podcast, and there's nothing like snapping at one of your kids after a hard work day or something, and then you instantly feel about that big. So none of us are perfect. Success, I guess it's, or what I perceive as success, I guess that's ever evolving and changing. And as I get older and older, I want to spend more and more time with my kids and my family. So, if I'm able to do that, I guess I'm a successful man.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
Killer, man.
I gotta follow these two.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I wanted money for like not dollar menu. Jeez, oh,
We all want that.
You can get some good deals on that.
On the dollar menu? You ain't wrong, dude. I usually have a lot of words to say, and I'm always like yapping at the gums, but
Not you.
not me.
No, who?
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's a good question because the answer is always different for everybody. That's why people ask that question. But I just like living in abundance. I came from so far back, dude, like mentally and financially, and it wasn't a woe is me because I had never had that attitude. When I was broke and poor and we didn't have an option, we never had a nice shirt. I was in the middle, so I always had wore-me-downs, hand-me-downs. I never had shoes that didn't have holes in them, shorts that didn't already have holes in them. Nothing, dude. Nothing nice ever. And so for me, the motivation was taking care of all the material needs because they were wants, but to me, I wanted to get back to baseline that like middle class America was living, that or upper middle class was living, that my family just didn't have. We never had nice things. There was no surplus, no extras. It was discount nights, discount hotels, no dessert ever. I mean, like I literally told Liz once, like my goal in life was just like be able to buy dessert and not think twice about the fact it's gonna be $9.99 extra. And so for me, success is being able to take care of the people around me. We've been really blessed this last 2-3 years, and they say like money will change you, could change you, or money's gonna do all this and do all that, and I've realized personally that having a little bit more money is just going to amplify who you already were. And I heard a really wealthy guy say that one time. And so if you're a good person, you're going to do good things with money. And if you're a bad person, you're going to do bad things with money. And I'm not saying I'm a good person, but I'm just saying I love doing good things with money and blessing people around me all the way, everywhere I go. Not just blessing people like, hey, I picked up this or did that, but doing stuff that's so obnoxiously uncomfortable for people that they're like, dude, you literally got to stop doing stuff like that. This is like awkward, and that's kind of like where I like to get it to, because that's how I know I'm like ultimately blessing people. And so for me, success is being abundantly blessed, taking care of my family, taking care of those around me, family for sure. And I consider all these guys in this room and a lot of you guys watching on the live stream family. Liz and I would do almost anything for you guys. We're very, very blessed, and we love to be blessed to be a blessing. So that's what success looks like to me. It's being prosperous to take care of people.
It's fantastic. We definitely can see that. I mean, I appreciate everything everybody here does for me and for us and for everybody in the community too.
Yep.
So do you have any inspiration on success?
And of course, I was trying to pay attention to what y'all were saying, but then I was like, I've got to go a different route with this because I can't repeat what they've said. But building off of what the fellows to my left have said, I remember when I got to a point in my career with my lawn care business that I stopped asking the questions, and the questions started being asked to me. Hey, how do I do this? Or I saw you doing this, how do I do it? Or all the questions we're getting tonight, if we weren't, I kind of get goosebumps, but if we weren't successful, we wouldn't be in a position to provide the knowledge and education and pass that torch to people that we are doing tonight and every day that we live and we work. So to me, and everything that you guys have just said is all, you know, definitions and meanings of success that I feel as well, but adding to that would be passing that torch to you all, you know, when you message us, and it happens to us daily, you know, and to me that's rewarding because it feels like I've made it, you know, so it's not a money thing with me, but it feels like I've done something right to where I can lead somebody in the right direction so they too can one day go from the 13, 14-year-old to a 38-year-old, you know, and now they're in that position where they're passing the torch that we've all given them. Amen. So to me, that's the definition of success, adding on what y'all said.
Love that. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, that's not to give a shameless plug, but my book says, "Are you ready for success?" So I have 146 pages answering that question, and Fullerton really, you know, strikes a chord with me about the abundance, and I'm not going to echo everything they said, but I'll add to the financial success. I think there's relational success. Like my goal, I'm going to go to the event in June, even though I'm single. I don't want to get a divorce when I'm 45 or 50 or 55. Like, I want my marriage to be healthy. So there's the relational dynamic. If I have children one day, like Andy Mulder was just on my podcast, he does a Dadder Day on Saturdays where he hangs out with his 2 kids. And so there's financial success, there's relational success. There's a doctor in the house, actually, Dr. Frank. He's been helping me with my health. I'm trying to get my gut not just gone, but like healthy. And so there's the health. And then of course, you guys all know I'm big into the spiritual aspect. I want to go to heaven when I die. And so for Jesus to look at me and let me in the kingdom, that is success. I don't want to go to hell. So I think it's a balance of spiritually, relationally, financially, and I'm missing one, health. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to be successful in all those areas. And I think there's a correlation between all of them. And so
fantastic answers. Really good transition. Let's give away this book, man.
Yeah, so if someone would like in the comments, you leave a 1. We have Natalie back here. We'll just let you pick one person. Go ahead.
I want to hear Blake's.
Yeah, you're trying to get off the phone.
That's
my girl right there.
Yeah. Probably a sum of all of these answers is never stop growing and changing and trying to get better, be a better husband, better father, better business owner. I just want to be happy. I mean, really focus on happiness. There's really no like, it has to do with money. It doesn't have to do with money. It has to do with growing a business. But, you know, just be happy and satisfied with everything that I'm doing in life.
Yeah. That was killer. All that was awesome.
Yeah. We got any ones showing up? Pick the first one you see.
Yeah, so if you got
Chase Mick McCurry.
Chase Mick McCurry.
Chase Mick McCurry.
Okay, so Chase, listen, I go into UPS on Monday. I got to take this big LMN banner, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be at the UPS store. So if you DM me at Green Industry Podcast on Instagram, thank you to Blake.
Sweet, man.
We're gonna send you this book. I'm gonna autograph it. You have to send me your address, and I'd love to send it to you
Right now.
And
right now on Instagram.
yeah, Green
Seriously.
Industry Podcast is my handle. And for those of you who don't like to read, this thing just came out on audiobook. You can't plan this, okay?
Heck yeah.
On January 11th, I submitted it to Audible, and on the last night of the Hype House in the morning, I can't control this. Audible controls it. It's my first audiobook's out, and anyway, you can take a listen. So cut that grass and make that cat.
Wait a second. Mitchell just said we should give away 2 copies of the book.
Well, we have 2.
I'm holding one and it's signed.
All right. So leave a number 2, and Natalie will pick.
Somebody comment 2, and we're gonna give you this one.
Dude, this is the
Chase
last day of the Hype
McCurdy is
House.
the first winner.
I also heard that somebody gave a hefty super chat earlier on the live stream for you.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Anonymously?
Yeah, secret of mine.
Thank you.
They did one on mine too. So after this, we're gonna do another live stream on my channel and see if there's a birdie in there. Because I'm figuring this system out. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're gonna be up all night.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Let's go. After me, it's Mitchell again. So
Did anybody give it number 2?
C&L Property Care.
There you go.
C&L Property Care.
If you
Congratulations.
DM me right now, Green Industry Podcast on Instagram, your address, and Monday morning I'll be at the UPS store, and we will send these 2 copies out to McKerney, Chase McKerney, and C&I.
Yeah, cool.
Congratulations on your new books.
Congrats on that, guys. Thank you guys so much for just everything, man. Shout out to the Fullertons, the Almonds, Paul Jameson, LMN. Fantastic first annual Hype House.
Does that mean there's going to be a second Hype House next year?
I think so.
All right.
I think so. So that's it for the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Why is the peanut gallery on? Good job.